Jai Hind students, welcome to physics class of grade 9. I hope all of you are fine at your home. Today we are going to discuss very important three laws of motion, and those laws are called the Newton's laws of motion. All of us are familiar with the name Newton. He was the greatest scientist. He contributed a lot in mathematics and in physics. And before discussing the Newton's laws of motion, there is a very important property which we must know before moving to the Newton's laws of motion. That property is inertia. What the inertia is? Look, this is the chair. It is here. Now, I am saying that chair move. But chair is not moving. Why? Because it is in the state of rest and it continues want to remain in the state of rest. This is the whiteboard here. I am saying whiteboard, you just turn away so that I can go there. But whiteboard is not moving when I am telling him. Why? Because it is not able to change its state of rest by itself. Another is that let us say you are in a spaceship and you are repairing an artificial satellite. By chance, some screwdriver, it escapes from your hand. If you will try to stop it moving, you will not be able to do that. It will remain in motion. So what the inertia is? Inertia is the property of a body due to which it opposes any change in the state of rest or uniform motion. Question is, who measures the inertia? Inertia is measured by the mass. More is the mass of the body, more is the inertia. What is mass? When your mother says go and purchase 3 kilogram of onion, then this 3 kilogram is the mass. When you measure your weight, it comes, let us say 50 kilogram. This 50 kilogram is the mass. If you go to a shop and you bring 10 kilo, purchase 10 gram of the gold, this 10 gram is the mass of the gold. So who measures the inertia? Mass is the measure of inertia. More is the mass, more is inertia. Heavier a body is, more will be its inertia. For example, I am having a car and I am having a toy car. If I want to move a toy car, I require very little force. But if I want to move a real car, by applying the force, it requires a huge force. So what does it mean? It means car is having more inertia and this toy car is having lesser inertia. Let us say we are having a truck. All of us are familiar with the truck, and we are having a car which is having more inertia. Truck is heavier than the car. So truck is having more inertia and car is having lesser inertia. If I want to change the state of rest of the car, I will require a lesser force, and if I want to change the state of rest of truck, I will require greater force. So I can say truck is having more inertia and car is having lesser inertia. So what I want to say? I want to say if an object is heavy, it is having more inertia, and if an object is light, it is having lesser inertia. So I think the concept of inertia is clear. One example that I am giving you, let us say this is a eraser that you are using in your day-to-day life, and this is the book which is having more inertia. Eraser is having lesser inertia because its mass is less. whereas book is having more inertia because its mass is more. So inertia, it gives the opposition of a body due to which it doesn't want to change its state of rest or uniform motion. Now let's move to our topic, Newton's laws of motion. First of all, we will discuss Newton's first law. So let's discuss Newton's first law. What is Newton's first law? Now, this law is also called law of inertia. Before Newton, the same concept was discovered by Galileo. So Galileo has discovered the law of inertia, and the facts of Galileo, they were compiled by the Newton, and it is called the Newton's first law. So if law of inertia is asked or Newton's first law is asked, both means the same. So what is the Newton's first law or the law of inertia? The same definition. According to this law, if a body remains at rest, it continues to remain at rest. If a body is in uniform motion, it continues to remain in uniform motion unless an external force acts on it. I am repeating, a body which is at rest, it continues to remain in rest. A body which is in uniform motion, it continues to remain in uniform motion unless an external force acts on it. Right? So what I want to say, if we want to change the state of rest of a body, we have to apply the force. If we want to change the state of uniform motion of a body, we have to apply the force. In day-to-day life, you will say that a cycle is moving with 10 meters per second in same direction. But when the pedaling is stopped, cycle comes to the rest. It is because friction opposes the motion. If there were no friction, cycle might have remained in the motion. Let us say you are in a space, and if you throw a ball in the space, the ball, it will continue to move with same velocity. Ball will not stop. If we have thrown it with the velocity of 10 meters per second, it continue to move with the velocity of 10 meters per second. Why? Because in space there is no friction. There is no other resistive force. So that's why the ball, it will continue to move with that unless an external force acts on it. So let us discuss the Newton's first law of motion or the law of inertia. I think definition is clear. Now this law is divided into the three parts. First part is law inertia of rest. What is inertia of rest? Inertia of rest, what does it mean? It means that a body in the state of rest continues to be in the state of rest unless an external force acts on it. Unless an external force acts on it. For example, let us say a bus starts suddenly. A bus starts suddenly. What happens? Let us say this is the floor of the bus and this is the passenger. He is standing in the bus. Now what happens when a bus starts suddenly? The lower portion of passenger's body, it also comes into the motion as soon as the bus has started. Why? Because lower portion of passenger body, it remains in the contact with the floor of the bus. As the floor of bus, it starts moving, the passenger's lower portion, it also comes in motion. But upper portion of the passenger's body, it remain in the state of the rest. So what will happen? There is mismatching between upper portion of passenger and the lower portion of passenger in motion. Upper portion remains at the rest and the lower portion, it comes into the motion. So what will happen? Lower portion is moving forward, upper portion is remaining at rest. So what will happen? Passenger will fall backward. So in that case, passenger, it will fall backward because lower portion is moving and upper portion is remained at the rest. So lower portion will move forward, upper portion will remain here. So what will happen? The passenger will fall backward. Second point is that, let us say we are having a carpet. In carpet, let us say it is dusty carpet. So if I hang the carpet and if I beat it with the stick, what happens? You will find that dust particles are coming out from the carpet. Why dust particles they come out from the carpet? The reason is that when I beat the carpet with the stick, what happens? There is contact between the carpet and the stick. So carpet moves. But the dust particles, they do not move with the carpet. They remain there. So as a result of that, dust particles, they come out and they fall down because of the gravity. Clear? And why the dust particles, they remain at the rest? Because of inertia of the rest. They cannot change their state. They cannot change their position because no external force has acted on it. I think this carpet example is clear. Third is, let us say we are having a mango tree. There is a mango tree. It is full of mangoes, ripe mangoes. So what happens? When you shake the mango trees, mangoes will fall downward. Why the mangoes fall downward? Branch which we are shaking, it does not fall. It is because of the reason that when the branch is shaken, there is contact between our hand and the branch. So branch, it comes into the motion. Whereas mangoes, they try to remain at the rest. Because of this, they cannot move. So as a result of this, they get detached from the branch. So because of inertia of the rest, mangoes, they remain at rest. As a result of this, they get detached from the branch. Fourth point is, you might have done this also. Let us say I am explaining the fourth point here. Let us say this is a glass. What do? You put a cardboard over the glass, and over cardboard you put a heavy coin, let us say of 10 rupees denomination. And if I take the cardboard and if I pull it instantly, what will happen? You will find that 10 rupees coin, it will fall into the glass. Whereas the cardboard, it will come in our hand. Why? The reason is very simple. I touch the cardboard and so cardboard it moves because there is direct contact between my hand and the cardboard. And why this coin it does not move? Because there is no direct contact between my hand and this coin. So coin it falls into the glass. And next thing is, in the game of carom, you have seen that there are the carom coins. Let us say 3 carom coins are stacked over one another. This is the striker. If I hit the striker on a carom coin, let us say it goes there. You will find that the coins which were stacked over the lowest coin, they do not change their position, they simply fall down. So why? It is because striker it remained in the contact with the lowest coin and lowest coin has came into the motion, whereas upper coins they remained at the rest because of inertia of the rest. So this is the reason that the upper coins they remains undisturbed, whereas the coin which was at the bottom it has moved. Why? It is because of the say inertia of the rest. I think these examples are sufficient and you have understood the concept of the inertia of rest. Next is second part of the law of inertia is inertia of motion. What is the meaning of inertia of motion? A body in the state of uniform motion. In place of rest, just mention uniform motion continues to be remain in the state of uniform motion. Uniform motion unless an external force acts on it. Now, let me give the example. So, what does it mean? It means that a body which is in the uniform motion, it continues to remain in uniform motion unless an external force acts on it. For example, when a bus stops suddenly, passengers fall in forward direction. Why the passengers they fall in the forward direction? This can be explained. Let us say this is a passenger and this is upper portion of passenger's body and this is the say lower portion of the passenger's body. Before bus stops, passenger's whole body it remains in the motion. But as soon as the bus has stopped, so the floor of the bus it also stops and the lower portion of the passenger it remains in the contact with the floor of the bus. So lower portion of passenger's body it will come to rest. But the upper portion it remains in the motion because of inertia of the motion. Right? Because of inertia of the motion. So what happens? Upper portion it moves forward, lower portion it remains at the rest. So as a result of this, what happens? The passenger falls in the forward direction. Second point is, let us say if a rider is riding on a horse, what happens in that case? Let us say if a fast moving horse stops its gallops, what happens? The rider tries to fall in the forward direction. Why this happens? It happens because of the same fact. As soon as the horse stops its gallops, what happens? Lower portions come into the rest as soon as the horse has stopped. But upper portion, it remains in the motion because of inertia of the motion. So rider, it tends to fall forward. And the third example is that you might have seen in the game of long jump. Now, in the game of long jump, what happens? Athlete takes a certain athlete covers a certain distance with high speed before taking a leap, because inertia of motion helps him to cover more distance during the jump. Fourth point is, let us say there is a fast bowler and fast bowler want to throw the ball at a very high speed. What happens? His run-up is very low in comparison to the run-up of a spinner. Why this happens? Because by taking a longer run-up, he increases his speed. And when he throws that ball, inertia of motion in the hand of his body helps the ball to be thrown with a very high speed. So as a result of this, the fast bowler is able to throw the ball with a high speed. Next example is, there are many examples. Before taking the journey, what we do? We tie the luggage. Why we tie the luggage? It is because if the brakes are applied suddenly, there are the chances that luggage can move forward. So in order to prevent it moving forward, so we tie the luggage. So I think these examples, they clear cut indicates that inertia of motion is used in these examples. Another is, there is a warning there. Don't jump out from a moving bus. Why there is a warning that we should not jump out from the moving bus? The answer is very simple. Listen, when a bus is moving, let us say passenger inside is there and he is also moving, and when the passenger jumps from the bus, his velocity is same as that of the bus. So what does it mean? He falls with a high velocity, same as that of the bus. So what happens when he falls on the ground? His lower portion, it comes into the rest, but upper portion, it remains in the motion due to the inertia of the motion. As a result of this, he falls forward and is likely to get injured. So these examples, they clear cut shows how inertia of motion is used in our day-to-day life. Next is, third part is inertia of direction. What is inertia of the direction? It is similar to that inertia of direction. Definition similar. A body in the, what does it mean? So let me write a new definition, somewhat similar to that. So inertia of direction means a body is unable to change its direction of motion by itself. So what does it mean? It means that a body is unable to change its direction of motion unless and external force acts on it. A body itself cannot change the direction of motion unless an external force acts on it. Now let me explain by means of the example. What does it say? You might have seen when a vehicle takes the sharp turn, what happens? The person sitting in the vehicle, they tends to fall sideways. If a bus is moving here, we fall this. If bus is moving here, we fall this. Why? It is because passengers themselves cannot change their direction of motion without any force applied. Second point is that, let us say, with the help of this is the thread, on this thread we have tied a stone and we start whirling the stone. So what happens? Let us say stone, it starts describing circular motion. If at any point the string breaks, what will happen? The string, the stone, it will fly in this direction. Why? Because stone cannot change its direction without any external force. It requires external force. While moving in the circular motion, we were constantly pulling the stone, so that's why stone was changing its direction. But as soon as the spring breaks, that pull has disappeared. So because of that, it will move in uniform motion and its direction will be given by the tangent to the circular motion. Next point is, if we want to sharpen the knife or the scissors, you might have seen the person who is dealing with that. What happens? There is a grinding stone, and when that grinding stone is rotated, we place the scissor or the knife in contact of this. Let us say the direction of rotation is this. So what happens? You might have seen that sparks, they are flying tangentially. Why they are flying tangentially? Because on the sparks no force is acting on them, so they cannot change their direction. Fourth point is, you have seen that on the rotating wheels, of a vehicle, the mud, it flies tangentially. Why the mud it flies tangentially? Because mud itself cannot change its direction of motion because of the inertia of the direction. So what these points they indicate that if we want to change the direction of motion, definitely force is required. Without applying the force, we cannot change the direction of motion. Right? Now, let's move to the Newton's second law of motion. Before Newton's second law of motion, we are going to do a very important concept. That concept is of momentum. Momentum. What is this is the third topic. First was inertia. Second was Newton's first law of motion or law of inertia. Third is momentum. What is the momentum? Now, I am standing in the room. Even if the room doesn't contain anything, it contains air. Air molecules are hitting my body with the speed of 500 meter per second, on an average speed of 500 meter per second. This speed is very, very large. Okay, let me further explain you that, let us say a cycle is coming with the speed of 5 meter per second and if a car is coming with the speed of 5 meter per second, 5 meter per second means it is between the 18 to 20 kilometer per hour, we can try to stop the cycle. We cannot try to stop the car because it can be dangerous, it could be fatal also, right? Another example is that, let us say there is a truck, right, and this truck is unloaded, and there is a truck which is loaded, unloaded truck and loaded. If both are moving with the same speed on the same road, that is, the speed is 15 meter per second, 15 meter per second. If the brakes are applied with the same force, you will find that this loaded truck, it can be stopped very soon, but this truck, it takes some time. Why this truck, it takes some time? The answer is in the concept of the momentum. So what the momentum? Momentum, it is the amount of motion contained in a body. Amount of motion contained in a body. Amount of motion contained in a body. It is represented by P. Its formula is mass multiplied by the velocity. Velocity is a vector quantity. When you multiply mass, when you multiply scalar with the vector, answer is vector. So let me tell you a few points about the momentum. Note number 1, its SI unit is kilogram meter per second. Why? Mass kilogram, V, meter per second. Number 2, it is vector quantity having direction same as that of velocity, whose direction is same as that of velocity. And right, next point is, what will be CDS unit? Its CDS unit is gram centimeter per second. Fourth is, momentum is directly proportional to mass if velocity constant. What does it mean? The graph between momentum and mass is a straight line, right? And it is inversely proportional to velocity if mass is constant. So the graph between momentum and velocity is a straight line. Alright? So these are the points that you have to keep in your mind. Now, I was discussing these examples. If I say which contains more motion, cycle or car? Car contains more motion because mass of car is more than that of cycle. And why it is easy to stop a unloaded truck in comparison to a loaded truck, both moving with the same velocity? The answer is that the mass of an unloaded truck is very, very high. So as a result of this, its momentum becomes high. When momentum becomes high, amount of motion it contains more. So if I want to bring it to rest, definitely it will take more time. in comparison to an unloaded truck. And air molecules are hitting with the speed of approximately 500 meter per second. You know what will happen? If a stone hits with such a huge speed, it will pierce the entire body. Why air molecules are not able to cause destruction in our body? Even its speed is high, because their momentum is low. Why momentum low? Because their mass is low. A bullet of mass 50 to 100 gram, it is very fatal. It is moving with the speed of 200 meter per second, 300 meter per second. But why an air molecule cannot cause? Because the mass of that air molecule is very, very less. Now let us do some numericals based on the concept of the momentum. Question 1. Calculate momentum if a body of mass 100 kilogram is moving with 10 meter per second. What is momentum? mv. So this momentum is 100 kilogram. What is its velocity? 10 meter per second. Answer is 1000 kilogram meter per second. So its momentum is 1000 kilogram meter per second. Second question is, the momentum of a body is given to be the 200 kilogram meter per second and the mass of the body is 20 kilogram. Find the velocity of the body. P equals to mv. What is P here? 200. And what is m? 20 kilogram. So what is v? I have to calculate. So this is 200 kilogram meter per second. 20 kilogram v. Kilogram is cancelled. 0 is cancelled. 2 is cancelled. So answer is v equals to 10 meter per second. In the third example, if I ask you momentum of a body is 1700 kilogram meter per second and body is moving with a velocity of 1.7 meter per second, calculate the mass. Answer is simple. P is mv. So it is 1700 kilogram meter per second. M I have to calculate. What is v? 1.7 meter per second. Meter per second here, it will be cancelled. So what will be m? 1700 divided by 1.7. It is 1000 kilogram. So mass is the 1000 kilogram. I think concept of momentum is clear. In case of any problem, WhatsApp your doubts or make a call to me. Thank you and have a nice day.